Hello, and welcome to that Eurovision podcast, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Rory, and I am very tired but excited. But I'm tired because of other work placement things and traveling and all of that stuff. But I'm so excited because this has been coming for a very, very long time. So I'm really happy about that. And joining me.
Hi, it's Rosie, and I'm also very, very excited for today's episode. I got to use my social science, statistics, big brain for organizing all of this, and I'm very excited for everyone to see the results and to judge each other's tastes.
Judging you all the way.
Tim here, and hi guys, it's been a while, but I'm here. I've been very good. At the time of recording, it has actually just been a couple of days since Eurofest returned, and I'm kind of suffering just a tiny bit. Just goes to show that how I'm really out of touch I am with going out after the COVID situation. I did feel a bit iffy, but I knew that the people around me were like, most of them were fully vaccinated, so it wasn't as fuss. But it was fun overall in Surrey. It was very lovely as usual. And I can't wait for the next one. So if you do end up going there on October 8th, do say hi.
Already got my hotel room booked.
Same.
Just a meet and greet, is it, with TEP at this point?
Exactly.
Maybe should we sponsor them?
Do it.
Also, we got but Jazzy might potentially be there, so fingers crossed as well.
Possibly, yeah. Not sure if I'll be there, depending, because my dissertation is due in 2 days. But after that, we'll see. But yes, so as the title of this podcast has sort of alluded to, you guys have been voting for the past sort of month, 2 months on a wide range of categories, just all things Eurovision 2021, because as we all know, we are about to enter into a new Eurovision year. So in a way, yay, but also sad because, 2021 was just such an iconic year. And we figured we might as well just sort of send the year off in styles. And you guys have been voting in your drones, and we very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to actually just respond. And it's actually given us so much to work with. And
Rory,
a lot of
it's droves.
We're
going to get yelled at on Twitter.
It's drones, like in drones, no?
No, droves. Like masses.
Masses.
I'm science. It's science. It's fine. But you've been voting in your droves. And yes, we are pretty much ready to reveal the results. There are a few surprises in here, I'd say, looking at the winners. So I'm looking very forward to getting into this. So what we're going to do, we are going to go through each of the categories. Each one of us will alternate between announcing who comes in. If you have any sort of pre-award speeches, please prepare them now. And yes, we might as well just kick things off with the first person and with the first category, really. And that is the most improved song. Now, that obviously could mean quite a lot of things, in terms of staging, its perception, its overall sort of ranking, where it came in the betting odds, that kind of thing. So who knows? There would be quite interesting. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go through these in sort of the top 3. And if there's a tie at any point, we'll just recognize them as being joint third, second, or first. Right, so the most improved song. Now, there was obviously quite a lot of things going. And for third place, we already are kicking off with a tie. And that is between Loco Loco, Hurricane, and Russian Woman by Manisha. Interesting, very, very interesting. Second place goes to Shum by Go A. And our most improved song, or your most improved song, is Love Is On My Side, the Black Mamba. That's kind of an interesting one, I must say, because I was very firmly within the sort of camp of loving the Black Mamba before the contest. So I just want to say I was ahead of the curve. But yeah, I'm just really, really happy to see this win. And it's totally deserved. I mean, Portugal really did show off its sort of prowess, I guess. And I'm hoping that they will take this and sort of learn from it going forward, really.
Yeah, I think I've made my thoughts on the song and its subject matter reasonably clear in previous episodes of this podcast, but I'm very much not surprised that this has won the award. I think so many people were so shocked when it was first chosen as Portugal's entry, and it absolutely came alive on the Eurovision stage. I remember watching the first rehearsals for it and seeing how they'd staged it and bringing that sort of LED orchestra in and the sort of charisma that Pedro Tatanka brought to the stage. And I can absolutely understand why people fell in love with it. So I think it's a very, very well-deserved prize.
For me, it's just a unanimous agreement. I saw the good side of it. Not many people did. And when obviously got to Rotterdam, everyone was just like, wow, they're really good. It's like, yeah, we know. We've been saying this for the long time now. And the fact that this was Portugal's first entry in English, because they've been sending stuff in Portuguese, and still managed shockingly qualify and get them one of their best results for a while. So I'm not really surprised.
Okay, so we're then going to move on to our second award of the episode, and that is the award for the best non-qualifier. As you know, not every song can make it to the grand final, as I know more than most people, given I'm still sad and still bitter about my number one not qualifying. So this is the category where we recognise those that were left behind in the semi-finals. And in third place, we have Technicolor by Montaigne from Australia. In second place, we have Ove oss på hinnenden by Fire og Flam from Denmark. And your award, your winner for the best non-qualifier of Eurovision 2021 goes to TikTok by Albina from Croatia. What do we think of that?
I must say, I have to say that it is definitely one of the contenders for the best non-qualifier, given the fact that in every respect of the way they should have qualified, but they didn't. And I can understand why they didn't qualify, because they just didn't get enough points. But I would have much rather preferred to have Albina in there than Tix. And I know Jazzy is going to absolutely kill me for that. But yeah, I think Croatia definitely, there's a lot to be learned from this. And I'm hoping that they'll sort of see that going forward in Dora, because Dora itself this year was so strong that I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that next year they might take some kind of similar things from that and then go forward, so then we can actually see Croatia in the final again and actually see them get a really decent result.
For me, you know what? Not even a doubt. Like, this was like 5 points away from qualifying. And what annoys me even further is that she placed 10th on both, but somehow did not qualify. I can't wrap my head around this, which is a bit annoying. But you know what? Give her a moment, and I hope she comes back like soon. And hopefully she does like a Poli Genova return where, you know, she'll get her redemption. But you know what? Albina's very lovely, and she's proven herself to Eurovision fans, and we all love her.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Albina get some love in this category. In fact, I'm happy for all three of them in this category. I think they were all really great choices. I do feel sort of fairly similarly to Rory and Tim in that I would really have liked to have seen Albina in the final. And I think there are similar songs from semi-final one in terms of style and genre and staging that I don't feel were necessarily as strong, yet still qualified over Croatia. Again, my taste is not necessarily representative of the entirety of Europe, let alone the juries. So I'm not going to be too mad about it. But yeah, I do still feel very sad that Albina didn't make it to Saturday night. And I'm really glad that she has been recognised by all of you for the excellence that she brought.
And just before we move on as well, hopefully she's feeling better after catching COVID. So fingers crossed. She's
Get
all
well
right.
soon. Thoughts and prayers.
Okay, moving on. The next category that we are going to announce the winner of is the most culturally representative. Now, in this category, every Eurovision participating country is unique. You can show off what makes them unique, and how successfully they have done that. So, looking at the top three, in third place would be our host country, the Netherlands, Django Mccroy with Birth of a New Age. Taking the runner up, wow, I actually thought this was going to win personally, but you know what? I'm not mad because it still made the top three. We have Manisha with a Russian Woman. And you know what? I'm actually not going to be surprised about the winner, but the winner of the most culturally representative TES award is Go A with Shum. So a win for Go A. What are your thoughts, guys?
So just to jump in on that as well, Goa got 50.7% of the vote on this category. So it was an absolute landslide victory for them. And I absolutely understand it. Again, it wasn't necessarily the first one that came into my head when I thought about this category. And I actually did vote for Manisha in this category because I felt it was so explicitly culturally representative. But given everything that Shum is, the fact that it is that sort of modernized folk music, it's entirely in Ukrainian, it's got all of those traditional instruments as part of it. I absolutely can see why Shum has won this category. And I mean, more Goa appreciation. I'm not going to be too upset by that.
Yeah, I've got to say, I also would have voted for Manisha because it has the most sort of ethnically diverse sort of elements, I guess, within that, at least in my opinion. But when you compare that to the white voice style technique, the fact that there's a sapilka, and just the way that they're like the lyricism of Shum is just so steeped in sort of tradition and history, it makes sense why this absolutely landslided it. I am kind of also really just happy just to see on another note that Jonker Mccroy has actually managed to get some recognition, because that song is still criminally underrated by so many people in the Euro fandom. And I'm so glad that people have actually started to realize its true potential. But yeah, I'm totally happy with this top three, really. And yeah, I just love them all.
Yeah, just agreeing with everyone. Birth of a New Age did not deserve that nil point on the televote. Even I casted a vote there and then. Obviously, that didn't make a difference. I actually would have thought that it would have been flipped, because Manisha, like, she's got this really anthemic and powerful anthems. So I would have thought she would have gotten the win. But you know what? Go Away is just as good, just because it's the folklore, it's the EDM element of it, and the fact that it just makes you want to dance, like the choreography while you're like in the club, which we actually did on when I was at Eurofest, and that was a moment on the club.
Oh, it was the same in Manchester Calling as well. Like, I think Rosie can agree with me that we all literally just went feral.
I mean, it was helped by the fact that you'd performed it earlier in the evening, so everyone was just ready for Rory, our glorious leader, to lead us in the dance of Shum.
I absolutely, like, the head banging was like there and then the best thing.
I think just one other thing that I wanted to add now that I've just sort of thought about it. One of the things that I think is quite interesting is with Russian Women, and why I think it may possibly have come second rather than first in this category, is that it's almost counterculturally representative. It's very much sort of almost fighting against those sorts of stereotypes of Russian women, and it's using traditional elements but subverting them in different ways. And it's almost fighting back against Russian society and gendered expectations and things like that. So it's possibly less culturally representative, but more acknowledging culture and almost fighting against it. It's satirizing it. So that's also pretty damn cool, even if it's not necessarily representing mainstream culture, it's representing counterculture.
All right, yes. So the next category that we're going to be sort of investigating here is the most robbed entry. Now, the word robbed is easily thrown about within Eurofandom culture, and I think that's fairly safe to assume that, you know, at least all three of us have used it, at least in some sense. However, this category is sort of looking at the songs that really should have just done better and were just completely overlooked by either the juries or the televote or both. Sort of the most underrepresented, I guess, or the countries that really just should have gotten what they deserved, really. And in third place, we have TikTok by Albina, so Croatia. In second place, we have Uas Pohinen by Phil Flammer. Now, choices. And the winner of this category is kind of an interesting one, I have to say for myself. It's Adrenalina from Senhit and Flowrider. Now, I do definitely agree that this song should have done a lot better than what it did. There was easily about 5-6 different songs that easily should have been below this song. But alas, that's just how we do. But I overall really just enjoyed this entry. I think it was fun. It had Flow Rider, and like within itself is just really, really interesting. And yeah, I think this just kind of goes to show that San Marino is starting to actually get what the contest is about. And after so many years of like trying and failing, it's just great to see them actually get a hold of like what's going on. I've seen some people say that, oh, San Marino is selling out, but it's not really the case like that. Senhit has been a fantastic representative for San Marino, and long may she reign as San Marino's like sort of new queen now, I guess.
Mickey Queen.
Oh my God, stop it.
For me, I definitely agree with this. When I saw the 13 points come in, I was just like, what is going on? We were just like, I love how we all thought it was like, Europe is definitely going to eat this up. Europe, 13 points. But you know what? Despite it being like underrated, it should have been San Marino's best result to date. But, you know, Serhat is rejoicing somewhere that he still got that title. But you know what? There's some positives to this. They got their first 12 points on a Saturday night. So it was actually nice to see Senhit and Flowrider in the green room. And I just have to, you know, give a massive shout out and a prop to Senhit, just because she knew what the fans loved. She knew what the audience wanted. Even right now, after the contest has like finished off, like when we're recording this, Senhit has actually just announced that they're releasing a remix version of Adrenalina. And the remix will be done by Steve Aoki, which is one of the best DJs out there. So, you know what? She's winning at life, even though she didn't win, but she won our hearts. That's all that matters.
I think this is a pretty good top three, but honestly, this is Jonker Mccroy erasure, and I will not stand for it. That man was robbed, and he deserved so much better. And yes, all of these other three entries did also deserve better. But I raise you Jonker Mccroy. I raise you Birth of a New Age and the sheer excellence that song was. But yeah, all of the others were pretty robbed too. So that's fine. I am not hating on this top three. I just think the Netherlands should have also been in there. So the next category that we are moving on to is for best staging. Staging is an iconic part of the Eurovision Song Contest, and this year was no exception to that. So in third place, we have yet another tie this year, and that is between 10 Years by Dario Gagnamagnid and To l'Univers by Jean's Tears. In second place, she's back again. It is Russian Woman by Manusia. And our winner of the best staging of Eurovision 2021 goes to Shum by Go A.
This it doesn't shock me, but it also does. But I think part of the reason why this is just so well received, I guess, is just it's the minute details that really just add the little finishing touches that kind of elevate it. So yes, Katarina didn't really move that much on stage, but when she was in focus or when she was on camera, she was establishing the motif of her being like, oh yes, I am the demon goddess that is going to haunt you in your dreams. It was very much like that. And each of the individuals of Go Away had their own personality, and they each had their own chance to actually shine on the stage as well. And it was really good at the very end. The main thing about the staging that I absolutely love is when they paint her to be the saint at the very end with the cyber tambourines and the sort of sun. But I must say, this is a little bit of a shock. I would have maybe had Tu l'univers up here, to be honest. I must say, though, before I just end my turn, why 10 years? It wasn't that good of a staging.
You know what? As with Rory, like, it's the minute detail. But the thing is, though, with Go Away, what I like about this was they were not taking any chances with their performance whatsoever. And another thing we might have been regretted to add on this award ceremony was to add a best live on tape performance, because I definitely think that Go Away would have won both. Just because if you do a comparison of between live on tape and the actual performance in the Ahoy Arena, you can see even though there's a big difference, like on the live on tape, you can really be immersed into it. Like it's like you're in a trip, like going on a trip or something. But on like the stage itself, you can see like how the big screen has massively helped create an atmosphere. So I wasn't surprised that they weren't taking chances and they were taking it very seriously. But you know what? I think that Russian Woman should have gotten it just because of the fact that the staging looked really representative, but I'm not as surprised that Go Away is just winning.
I think one of the things for me that's interesting thinking about the staging this year is actually from having been at quite a lot of the press conferences, which honestly I'm still not quite over. That's just so cool. But one of the things that really came across in some of the press conferences was just how considered a lot of the staging was. And you can really see that in a lot of the choices that have been made for best staging, though I think there are probably a couple of others that are a little underrated. So I would give a big shout out to The Wrong Place, because they gave a really interesting answer about how they'd positioned Geika in the middle, because she was technically in the wrong place for a singer on stage, and how they'd sort of surrounded her by these sort of black mythical figures of the other band members, and that they wanted to emphasize that they were a band rather than just a singer. And I just thought that was really interesting. Similarly with Tu l'univers, and how it sort of represented this idea of his world shattering around him and coming together, and it's just beautiful. And I think you can really tell the stagings where they've put a lot of genuine thought into how they want to stage it, how they want to tell the story or the message or the feeling or the atmosphere of what that song is about. And honestly, my sort of almost my counterpoint to it would be a song that clearly had almost no thought put into the staging whatsoever, which is, I'm sorry, it's Amber's. That's the song's got trumpets in it. Let's have some giant trumpets. Wow. Original.
Really on the nose.
I mean, there was pyro in the end, so that's all that matters.
We had to literally persuade
him.
the BBC into putting pyro in that performance. Just, yeah, I think these are a great set of winners. I like all of their stagings. I understand that sort of the staging for 10 years is maybe not super spectacular, but I think it really fits the song, and I think it is just utterly charming. And they have such a clear, defined aesthetic that I think really, really works with that song. And like, the song's about how much he loves his wife. I can't.
It's a
just
bit
this sort of adorable, quirky sort of song, and I'm okay with the staging being what it was for that.
Just one more thing, just before we move on to the next one. You mentioned Hooverphonic. I definitely think that if we were having a live on tape episode or something like that, or an award for that, Go Away would definitely have big competition from Hooverphonic, because that last shot where they literally just pan out and it's just the whole hangar just being lit up. It's the staging for that was like chef's kiss, basically. Oh.
Okay, then moving on, we are now going to go into the Best Presenter Award. Now, for the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest, we were guided through by the four lovely hosts. It's Celia Rombly, who has represented the Netherlands twice, Chantal Jansen, Ian Smith, and Nikki Diega, who we all know as Nikki Tutorials. Now, just because there's four of them, we will obviously just announce the obvious winner. And hello, guys. We already know that it is Nikki Tutorials who obviously won this award. What are your thoughts?
I'm entirely unsurprised by this. All four hosts were absolutely fantastic, but Nikki just shone the entire time. And you'd never know that that was her first presenting gig. Like, she's never presented anything like that before, and she took to it so naturally, and it was fantastic. And honestly, as well, again, sort of listening to her talk in the press conferences about how meaningful it was for her to be the first out trans person hosting a contest on such a huge international stage. It's so powerful, it's so meaningful. I hope that there were trans kids at home who watched that performance and saw her and saw themselves and saw something that was hugely inspirational, because like I'm a cis white girl and I was inspired watching that. So I really hope that there were people who saw themselves in her there.
Yeah, I've got to agree on this. Like, Nikki just really just showed off her prowess. And I don't know if any of you people listening have watched her sort of debrief video on her YouTube channel afterwards, but she literally said within that she had never had any kind of experience in anything like this before. She, you know, a lot of the times whenever she goes on TV in the Netherlands, it's usually quite mixed and stuff. But I have yet to find a single person who did not like her presenting skills or presenting style in Rotterdam. It was phenomenal. She added class, she added humor. She really just was just so professional, but she was able to do it in a really relaxing, disarming way. And that's exactly what you need from a host like that. I would even go as far to say that she was better than Mons and Petra, to be honest. And that's saying something. I definitely think that going forward, we should definitely have more of these sorts of hosts, because at least then it keeps things a little bit interesting, as opposed to having sort of deadpan people like Caterina Furtado, for example, in 2018, where it was just very sort of straight, not really anything going on. I think there's a lot to be taken from Nikki. Honestly, if Nikki could just do the Le Club thing every single year going forward, I would be okay with it.
I think I'm not surprised, just because if you ask most of the Eurovision fans, they would say and agree with the voters. I would just say that, you know, in 2020, she was actually just meant to be like an online host. And I think she proved herself quite well. The broadcasters were just like, you know what, we'll give you a bit of an upgrade and make you a main host. So that's why Krista was now there. And all I'll say is she blew everyone's socks off. It helps that A, you're a Eurovision fan, you know how the contest works, and B, her charisma. Like, that was more than enough to make her go alive. Like, you know, it's every Eurovision fan's dream to like maybe host it. And I think Nikki just like embodied what we want to someday do and host the contest. And, you know, she was just living the dream for us. And we were all just like on the outside, like, it was like, I wish that could be us someday. It took her some time to get there. And you know what? She deserved every bit of it. And if there is any hatred towards her, and all I'm going to say is she's doing something. What are you doing with your life?
I love that. Oh dear. So the next category that we're going to be investigating and looking at is the best lyrics. Now, with the exception of Nocturne, pretty much every single song that has ever won Eurovision has had lyrics in it. And these lyrics can convey so many different things. They can be deeply personal or they can be completely trivial. But so long as they compare with the rest of the song and help to tell a story, then that's exactly what they want to do, you know?
Always
So
stay
these
cool like a swimming pool.
give me chance to refinance, please. Yeah, so the winners in this category have been able to be the most effective storytellers within words alone. And this is definitely going to be down to the wire, you know? So in third place, we have Voilà, Barbara Pravi. In second place, we have Birth of a New Age by Jonker Mccroy. And in first place is Growing Up is Getting Old by Victoria. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this one really did quite shock me because the lyrics are very personal to her and you can tell that she very much believes in what she's singing in. But I can't exactly fully get behind this song, maybe just for the lyrics. I understand why she won, but it's not someone who I would have chosen, basically. She is very much a talented lyricist, and the fact that like English is not her first language and she's able to help to create this massive environment and this massive sort of atmosphere just with the words that she's speaking, I think is phenomenal, really.
Oh my God, yes, finally. I mean, if you don't already follow me on social media, you've been under a rock, but this was actually my winner of 2021. And you know what? It's the lyrics, the emotional journey from childhood to becoming an adult. The fact that, you know, it's just inevitable that we're going to grow old. And the fact that she had this personal connection, even on the staging, like, because she dedicated the performance to her father. And, you know, it just melted my heart quite a lot. Not like bashing like the other two, you know, which are lyrically exceptionally well, but Growing Up is Getting Old is just the one that like literally hit the spot. I'm not surprised that this was selected and won this award. I'm actually quite happy and pleased that something out of my top three actually won something, and that turned out to be my winner.
Tim loves existential crises. Pass it on.
Exactly.
Just getting my statistics hat on, this was actually 1 point between first and second place. Both between Victoria and Jonker. So don't let anyone ever tell you that your vote doesn't count, basically. Yeah, I've been a huge advocate throughout this entire season for the lyrics of Birth of a New Age. I think they are exceptional lyrics, entirely triumphant and powerful and joyful and meaningful and sad, but also hopeful. And it encapsulates so many different feelings in the song. And honestly, I think Growing Up is Getting Old would probably be my second place. I cry every time I hear it. And I'm not someone who cries very easily at fiction or media or film or whatever it might be. And that song gets me every single time. And I think it captures that sort of, I mean, she's 23, I think, maybe 24. So she's about our sort of age. And I think it really captures the sort of tentativeness and precariousness of young adulthood and going through sort of very deep and difficult changes and finding who you are while also dealing with personal trauma at the same time. I think it's really quite beautiful. So while it wouldn't be my first choice, it's almost certainly my second choice. Voila, again, fantastic song. And for someone who wouldn't necessarily rank this song like super highly, like I do really like it, but it sort of floats around my 10th place. I'm actually going to give another bit of love to The Wrong Place because I think the lyrics are such a clever and witty and humorous take on that sort of one night stand scenario. I think they're really funny and they're full of detail. One of my favorite lines is, "You wake up because you need an organic cup of tea." I just think there's so much captured in that line about who this person is and what they're singing about. And I just think it's a really great piece of storytelling. So the next category we are going to be moving on to is the strangest placement in the running order. So this category we did only for the grand final, simply because it was far too complicated to do all of the semi-final running orders and all of the grand final running order. However, we have had since 2013 producer-led and decided running orders. They have chosen what order the songs go in. They have told a story throughout the night, and sometimes they make some interesting decisions as to what songs go where. So in third place is Adrenalina by Senhit and Flo Rida. In second place is Karma by Angela Peristeri. And the strangest placement in the running order for the 2021 grand final goes to Je me casse by Destiny.
Oh, I can start this off. Yeah, I think poor Destiny just like picked the wrong half, which made me really sad. It was like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, like this final is already as intense as it is. For you to be put there right next to After Russian Women. I mean, I know that they're trying to keep the tempo and consistency of it, so I get that. But I just think like she was still too early in the running order regardless. I think it's just by chance, like, just pick the wrong slip when you were doing the draw. Karma, all I'm gonna say is, do the producers just have something against Albania? Because this is 2 years in a row now that they put them second. I'm looking at the first half right now, and all I can see is just, I can think of other songs where you could detest that and put something else in the second, but I'm not even gonna question that. And for Adrenalina, you know what? You know, some people say that being at the end is always a good thing. But I think in this case, I don't think it worked out for Senhit, just because of the fact that even though you've got Flo Rida, which is a big name, I just think that, I think with the way it led up to the end, it didn't work out in their favor.
I think the main thing with Adrenalina is that I would have switched Måneskin and San Marino, because I think Måneskin gives a very strong sort of ending vibes, and whereas Adrenalina, it keeps the vibe going, but it doesn't really like end on the way you want it to. And I think coming after Birth of a New Age would be a little bit more interesting, I guess, because you kind of go from that and then you kind of keep a little bit of that kind of ethnic sound going, if you know what I mean. But I must say that Je me casse really was the weirdest one. I don't see why it did not win. You know, like I see why it definitely won, basically, because Russian Woman is obviously like good, but it doesn't really have the same kind of hard-hitting beats that Je me casse does. And then obviously, like after that, I think you had Portugal, didn't you? So it just completely slows down the vibe again. So I think, to be fair, no matter where they were going to put Destiny, she was going to be hurt, unless it was at the very, very end of the first half. But I don't think that was going to happen, given what else was sort of vying for contention, really. They had to put her somewhere, and it was a good compromise. It just didn't really work out for it, really.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that Adrenalina is listed as one of the top 3 weirdest placements in the running order and that it won most robbed song are not unconnected. I think that the fact that it was placed 26th in the running order almost certainly contributed to it not doing as well as we would have hoped. Because you can, I think the same happened for Sweden as well, because Tusa did very well, but kind of underperformed as far as Sweden's more recent record goes. And I think the fact that both of them came after Italy sort of meant they faded into the background. I think the one that I am surprised about that didn't get mentioned, but possibly more out of humor than anything else, is the transition from Finland of "we don't want to grow up" to Bulgaria of "growing up is getting old." The producers knew what they were doing with that one.
Or about how about this? Or I think they were new. How about Effendi Ticks?
So they could stand next to each other on the stage in the wings and send love.
But what was
no? Let's just put it that way. No.
But the thing is, though, like it's just funny. It's just like they were really keeping a tab on that. Like even in the jury rehearsal, they were just like, you know what? After Effendi performed, there's ticks. But they didn't do that in the final, which I think they should have done just for the lols.
And also just the severe tonal whiplash of going from I don't feel hate to dark side. What?
That whole, like, from about like place maybe like 13 up to about 17 was just full of question marks, I'd say. NOS, I need to know questions. I need to know answers. I need to know everything.
They were just like, yeah, you know what? We don't know what to do with these songs, so we're just gonna bunch them up together and then just let you guys do your thing. All right, then. Up next is the most enduring song. Now, with this category, we're looking at what song will we be listening to maybe in 10, 20, 50 years' time. Just take a note of the result because, you know, it might come in handy. In third place, we got Barbara Pravi with Voila. Certainly not surprised. Second place, we've got Go Away again with Shum. And the winner for the most enduring song, not surprised, obviously, of course, our reigning champions, Måneskin with Ziti Buni. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I hope I'm listening to them still in 50 years' time. So if other people are, then great, they've got good taste.
Ziti Buni was not my favorite, and it still really isn't my favorite of Eurovision 2021. So I doubt I'll probably be listening that much to it. I'll listen to it if it's on, basically, but it won't be the one I'll choose to go to. I'm very happy with the other two, though. I think there's no denying that Shum is going to be informing a lot of sort of ethno ballads for years to come, basically. I think as well with Voila will sort of go down the same route as Amar Pellish Deutsch, I think, where people were thinking, oh my God, it's, you know, so dated or whatever. But the datedness will turn to timelessness in due course. And that will definitely happen in the next 5 years or so. People will still be listening to Voila and be thinking, oh, this should have won, you know? And I will be one of those people.
Okay, I'll just have a quick explanation of this one. Voila, I'm not surprised. I will probably seeing as I'm gonna try and head into Paris, I'll probably, you know, go walk around the streets of Paris, try and have my main character moment somewhere with someone just like recording me, like walking around, like, interesting, strange. Go Away, I'm not surprised. It's a banger. Woohoo. Måneskin, I'm probably gonna get cancelled over this. I agree with Rory. Ziti Boni is not my favorite. I actually prefer their other songs, but I'm that person where, you know what? They deserve it. I'll let them have it. I'm not really fussed. So it's not like I hate it. It's not doing anyone harm. Everyone's enjoying it. So I'll leave them be. And I have no opinion on it, but for me, I'm happy that it's there. I'm happy that it exists and it's winning and everyone's happy. And I'll leave it at that before someone else cancels me on Twitter.
No, I think you should be fine. But yes, so we'll quickly move on to the next category. And this is, in general, the best song. Now, obviously, there are going to be some songs that are better than others. And I must say that if this result seems familiar to you, then it is true. It is familiar to you. So in third place, we have Barbara Pravi, Voila. In second place, we have Go A with Shum. And of course, our reigning champions are the winners. So Ziti Boni by Måneskin is the winner. Again, this is obviously very subjective, so we can't be too good. But from a musical perspective, in terms of like arrangements and things like that, by far and away, these three were the biggest runaways. I highly like understand that. I would have preferred to have Voila up there because Voila is a little bit more acoustic and you can see each of the individual elements. The best thing about Måneskin winning is that the whole is better than the sum of the parts, really. So I'm just overall really happy with this top three, to be honest, and I can't really be complaining about it. So yeah.
Rory, we're not on the Monzalo Award for Aesthetic Excellence yet, and you're already talking about wholes and parts.
Look, what can I say? I'm preparing myself for the inevitable.
I'm trying not to lose it here. But anyways, I only have to say one thing, and that is, if you know me, I love my gifts on Twitter. So I would say, I said what I said. That's all I'm going to say in regards to the winners of this.
This is a hella tasteful top three. I love all of these songs. I enjoy all of these songs. I am still listening to, singing along to, dancing along to all of these songs, and I hope I will be for a long time to come. And with that, we are moving on to our next award. And we've already talked about this. This is the Monzalo Award for Aesthetic Excellence. So this is basically the Horny Award. It is the Go to Horny Jail Award. It is everyone who voted in this award gets a bonk. And yeah, this is for the act that is the most aesthetically excellent. So in third place, we have Blas Canto from Spain. In second place, we have Uku Sabist from Estonia. And in first place, we have, yet again, Måneskin from Italy.
I have no comment. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I see you playing your cards close to your chest. I must say, Uku,
Ooh-woo.
Ooh-woo, oo-noo. Let's just put it that way. Something tells me potentially maybe Jazzy might have hijacked the voting on this potentially. Now, Jazzy, if you would like the right to reply, come on to next week's podcast and you can sort it out yourself. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm not surprised by Blas Canto. He's a very, very good looking man. But this is also, just for clarification, everyone was up for an award here. It wasn't just men or women or anything like that. It was up for everyone. It just so happened that the top three were just men.
This is Victoria De Angelis erasure, and I will not stand for it.
Literally, she is the only woman that is in this top three. What the hell?
She is, but she's a beautiful human being.
She has enough aesthetic to outweigh all of the other men combined, to be fair. If it were up to me, I would not have Uku in. I would bump Blas up, and I would include Benny Cristo at the in third place, because Benny Cristo, if you're free on Thursday at lunchtime, I am also free on Thursday at lunchtime if you are free as well.
Rory, he literally invited you to his vegan bar.
That is true, and I've yet to go. So where is the invitation, Benny? Come on, you got to chase me up here.
This year was full of beautiful people. Every Eurovision is full of beautiful people. I gave my vote to Måneskin. I am not regretting that decision.
All right, then, before I die of laughter, we are going to continue on to our last two categories. Okay, the next one would be the meme, or the moment of the season, as we say it. We dared to dream, dared to meme last time. Now we just look at what moments we thought was memorable or funny. Okay, so let's get into it. Third place, I never get tired of this, but ever since Fire Saga came out, the Yaya Ding Dong memes are just there, whether or not it was Finland during the voting recap or the guy was actually there during the voting for Iceland. Yaya Ding Dong. And that was
Do you have a
actually
second preference? It's like, fine.
play Yaya Ding Dong. Oh, I'm trying so hard not to lose it. But yeah, that's our third place. Second place, which I'm actually quite happy that it's there. It's Go A, but with Emmy Vanston, who actually replaced Katrina because she was unwell during the second rehearsal. You know, great girl. Actually had Taco Bell during the semi-final one jury performance, just specifically because she worked at Taco Bell.
I
No
love
shame.
that.
I was just like, you know what? Let's just have Taco Bell just for the sake of it because she worked at Taco Bell. Let's just support her company. But of course, number one, this is definitely on top just because of it's unprecedented. It's the 4 countries not getting any televote. So that's Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. But you know what? Specifically a shout out to James, just because he already didn't get anything from the jury. And that was a bit of a blow, not getting anything in the televote as well. That was kind of harsh. But I think that was shocking. I think if you guys saw my reaction video, you would just be like, yeah.
I did watch it.
The UK fans are just frustrated. There's 3 Brits here, and we're just frustrated now. We're just laughing stock, not just here, but because of other reasons, which I'm not gonna go into. But we're tired, and I'm
always losing.
Yeah, tired of always. But yeah, you know what? Funny moments, funny memes. I'm quite happy with them. What do you guys think?
I want to first of all give a shout out to the person. So we did this category as a free text field so people could type in whatever they wanted. And the person who typed it in as the 4 apocalypse horsemen of nil pois. I love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you. And yeah, I think there are a few kind of iconic things that didn't make the top 3, and in particular I'd like to give a shout out to Senhit's Where is Flo Rida headdress and John's Tears rapping memes, because that was a spectacular afternoon in the fandom, basically putting any random rap music over the top of John's Tears rehearsal clip. It was beautiful. But yeah, these are, I don't want to say fantastic moments, but definitely memorable ones. And I think the other thing with Go A that wasn't mentioned by anyone in their answers, but I want to also give a recognition to because it's fantastic, is Katarina's love of traffic cones. Because if you don't follow her on social media, I highly recommend you go and do. The woman loves a good traffic cone.
She knows what she wants, and she's here to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, I guess, by this. I'm kind of a little bit shocked, I guess, that so many people voted for memes as the 4 like horsemen of the nilpocalypse. So it's kind of interesting. To be fair, after the contest, the day after, when everyone was uploading their reaction videos, that was the first thing that I wanted to see, what they all thought about 4 different countries getting 0 points. It was absolutely ridiculous. Another thing about Go A I think really should be recommended is during their semi-final qualification press conference, they asked everyone, oh, are you happy that you were in there? And Katarina literally was like, we are very, very, very happy. Look at me. I'm happy. And she's so dry and sarcastic, and I absolutely love that about her, and she deserves nothing but the world. There is also, I guess, I don't know. I mean, remember Ubu Suiste? I mean, that was another meme that should have been maybe included. I don't know.
I thought I was literally the only person that tried to make it a meme.
No, you're not the only one. There's a few people that have done that on Twitter.
Hey, also, there's another one of the memes that did just come in. Yendrik's Look Lab with Nikki Tutorials was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I absolutely pissed myself watching it. And I think if you have not seen it, you need to see it, basically. there is one person that we have not necessarily mentioned in these sort of mean things because, well, I'll let Rosie sort of explain what the situation is here.
So when we did this as a free text category, there was one that was so overwhelming that we thought we wanted to give them their own award.
I had to hassle them, guys, by the way. Every day I was just like, every day I'm just seeing this person pop up on the response sheet. Yeah. Can we just give her one just because it wouldn't be fair like to the others if she just wanted a massive landslide and we're just just giving that away.
So let's say that the 4 countries getting nil points got 12 votes. This got 33. And we thought that this was such a huge margin that we wanted to do a special award. And so this is the TES Award for Eurovision 2021 Icon of the Year. And of course, it goes to none other than Natalia Gordienko.
Europe!
You know, I think this just goes to show that she is a walking meme. And I love her so much for it. I don't know if you guys have seen that 2-minute video that someone made of pretty much like Natalia's journey to Eurovision. And it was like all of the funny moments. So like the 3-hour release show that was just her singing and just a Philip Kirkorov slugfest. Her Europe Ow Europe Ow with voice crack. Her dancing with the Transformer. Just her not speaking during the Wee Wee Blogs stream as well, when she's just sat there, just like, for context, I'm currently just staring into the camera, just blankly smiling and just being like, yes, I'm here.
Natalia, blink twice if you need help.
Honestly, the woman is amazing. And you know, she answered our question as well in the semi-final 2 press conference as well. So we're doing very happy with that. But no, Natalia Gordienko, just so long as you don't have Philip Kirkorov, you're welcome back at Eurovision at any time.
Oh my God. I think I've hassled these guys so much. I was like, just give Natalia her own award. And thank you for allowing me to do that, just because she deserves it. And I think the fandom is just in agreeing, like, yeah, she needs her own award and she got it. We're good. We're great.
Yeah.
You gonna take that, Rosie?
Just a shout out as well to the person again on the free text field who typed in instead, the fire alarms going off during Moldova's performance.
Like, seriously, like, if we could show you, we're actually tempted to just, you know what, just show all the like Natalia related responses, and we can just say the reason why we had to use it's like because of the stuff you came up with on the free text.
Like, it's like when you're walking barefoot on a laminate floor and then you just step on some Lego and you're like, ah!
So that brings us to the end of that Eurovision Site Awards 2021. I'm feeling weird doing this with Rory, like, being on this podcast. So I'm going to hand over to Rory to do the end of this podcast because I'm feeling weird.
Oh, you're too kind. Well, I must say it's been a fantastic ceremony. I think we have some very worthy winners, some maybe not so worthy winners too. But, you know, that's democracy. So, yeah, so in the meantime, yes, this does take us to the end of this edition of that Eurovision podcast. We are officially closing the book now on 2021. By the time that this comes out, it should pretty much be a whole new Eurovision year now. So may your festivities be glamorous and glitzy and all of these full of fuego. And going forward, I mean, you know, we are going to be here. We're going to be carrying on with all of these podcasts and articles on that Eurovision site as well. So follow us on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at that Euro site. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, so, and YouTube too. So subscribe, follow all of that stuff as well, so you always get notified for whenever new episodes come out. And Yes, we are ready. And it might be sad to see 2021 go, but I am so ready for a whole new batch of songs, a whole new host city. We still haven't found out where that is yet. And I mean,
Rory, don't say that. They'll announce it before this podcast comes out.
literally, I was just about to say that. So maybe it might be worth it. But we've got, a whole new experience coming our way. And I'm ready for it. I don't know if you guys are.
Definitely. Well, it is the first Eurovision season where we exist as both the podcast and the site. So
that's very true.
We're very happy and very excited, and we want to thank you all for your support.
Do you want to say anything, Rosie?
No. No, I think it's time to go get drunk at the TES Awards after party.
Oh my God, yes. And that's a very exclusive club, I must say. So anyway, shall we all say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.